Thank you, Peter. I'm very happy to be here today. This is the first time I'm speaking to a Hong Kong audience on behalf of Zinzino. I'm a medical doctor based in Malaysia. I have been in practice for more than 45 years now. Right through my practice, I noticed that along with medical care, you will need nutritional input to maintain your health. Once you get sick, yes, you need medical care, but you need this preventive care even before you get sick. Now, during this 45 years, I was with the government service for 16 years, working in the medical wards. After that, in the private sector. And in the last 30 years, I have been associated with nutrition companies, have been an advisor to them, and also helped to explain the products. At the moment, I'm with Zinzino. I have joined Zinzino after looking at the products. I like their product philosophy. They try to make everything natural. On top of that, they have made a breakthrough approach, that is to test your blood and see whether you are benefiting from what you take. And that's the best part I like. And we will be covering that also today. That is the short background.
Thank you, Dr. Abraham. Dr. Abraham 佢想同大家就講聲歡迎先啦。佢係第一次咧喺香港同大家咧喺線上嗰度碰面嘅。Dr. Abraham 其實佢係嚟自馬來西亞啦。佢已經係喺佢過去嘅45年裏邊咧，佢係有好多醫療相關嘅經驗啦。亦都係佢係好注重呢個醫療嗰個 medical care 啦。同埋佢係非常之欣賞Zinzino佢有一個好突破性嘅一個工具，就係咧可以幫你哋咧去檢測翻你哋身體咧有冇缺乏咗某啲關鍵嘅營養素，就係利用一個咧叫血液嘅檢測。亦都佢係好欣賞我哋Zinzino嘅產品咧，因為佢盡量咧就係用一啲好天然嘅一啲原材料咧去製造一啲去幫助我哋維持健康嘅營養補充品嘅。
Okay, so today let's have a look at what we call balance oil. And along with that, there is also a test kit to measure whether you are benefiting from that oil that you are taking.
好啦，今日咧就Dr. Abraham 醫生博士咧，佢就想同大家去探討一下，首先就係嗰個平衡油啦，第二個咧就係我呢個平衡測試，點樣去可以幫大家去量度翻你哋血液裏邊咧，究竟有冇足夠嘅Omega 3，從而去制定你一個膳食或者一個補充品嘅方案嘅。
How does this balance oil fit into our healthy lifestyle? Let's never forget that the number one most important thing is oxygen. We don't get enough, so please breathe a little deeper on and off to get more oxygen. That is the number one requirement to maintain health. Number two is make sure that you take enough water. All the chemical reactions in the body can take place only in the medium of water, and that must be also clean water. So we need to drink this continuously. Oxygen and water formula is same throughout the world, and it's easily available. Don't miss it. Over to you, Peter. I'll talk about the rest later.
好，唔該Dr. Abraham 嚇。喺我哋日常嘅生活裏邊咧，有兩個其實 total 有4個，頭兩個最重要嘅元素咧，當然就係我哋所講嘅氧氣啦 ，oxygen 嚇。如果你唔夠氧氣嘅話咧，咁你可以深呼吸，大啖啲去呼吸你而家喺空間裏邊嘅氧氣啦。 咁第二個最重要嘅元素咧，就係我哋所講嘅水啦。咁水係喺我哋身體裏邊所有化學反應咧，都係一個必須嘅媒介嚟嘅。咁亦都要睇翻咧，你哋所講嘅水咧，要係潔淨嘅水嚇。咁喺香港嚟講，或者喺我哋而家線上聽緊呢個講座嘅朋友，可能嚟自馬來西亞或者中國大陸啊，甚至乎其他亞洲嘅地區，空氣同埋水咧都係隨手可得嘅。咁跟住嚟有兩個Dr. Abraham 會講緊，對於我哋健康嘅好重要嘅營養成分，究竟係邊3同埋第4樣咧？
Next most important thing is the diet, but we talk a lot about diet because there's so much variation around the world. Different ethnic groups eat different diets. Modern lifestyles have changed it, and that's the reason many books come out with regards to diet. So today we are going to focus on something in the diet.
咁第3個咧就係Dr. Abraham 有提到啦，就係我哋嗰個飲食啊。咁飲食其實咧就係同我哋嗰個生活習慣係息息相關啦。咁嚟自唔同地方嘅人，佢哋都有自己唔同嘅飲食習慣嘅。咁而正正就係呢個飲食習慣同埋我哋嘅生活習慣咧，就改變咗我哋本身應該好健康嘅呢個體質嚇。因為可能喺呢啲情況咧底下咧，我哋缺乏咗啲關鍵嘅營養素嘅。
If you look at the diet people eat around the world, there is a lot of variety, as we see here. But if you look at it closely, you will find that you can actually narrow it down to grains, vegetables, fruits, and animal produce.
好啊，咁如果睇翻我哋飲食咧，有四大5大嘅營養素啦嚇。咁可能嚟自啲穀物啦嚇，咁裏邊可能會啲大米啦，即係畫面見到有啲小麥啦，有啲粟米類啦，有啲木薯啦，或者一啲蕎麥類啦。咁同埋有啲植物嘅營養素，可能嚟自係啲葉類啊、啲根類啊、堅果啊，甚至乎一啲所謂嘅豆類嘅植物啦。跟住亦都有啲肉類嘅製品啦，同埋咧第5種咧就係一啲我哋經過烹調、經過煮食、經過調味嘅一啲煮食嘅方法，例如啲湯類啊，甚至乎啲肉湯咁樣嘅。
If we actually break down the food that we are eating into the nutrition that is required, you will find that we can divide them into 2 large groups, the macro and the micro. The macro is to give us a sense of fullness and the large amount that we need to consume, and the micro, small amounts, but very critical for the health of the human body.
好嗱，咁如果講翻我哋日常，我哋每一個人所需要嘅營養素咧，可以將佢區分做2種嘅，一個咧叫做宏量嘅營養素咧，我哋身體需要嘅數量咧，相對嚟講係要多啲嘅。咁而另外一個組別咧就叫做微量嘅營養素。咁微量營養素咧，佢雖然話我哋係需要少量，但係如果缺乏咗嘅話咧，亦都會對我哋身體構成一個問題嘅，因為佢係好重要嘅一個營養素嚟嘅。
Now, we still have not found out everything about food. That's why I put an unknown here. Okay. Now, today we are going to focus on the fats only.
咁雖然嗰個大家可能畫面見到啦，呢個微量嘅營養素下邊咧，仲有一個叫未知啊。咁但係我哋今日嗰個議題咧，就睇翻我哋個宏觀嘅營養素當中裏邊一個好重要嘅就係脂肪。
Okay, let me give a breakdown of the fats. There are many types of fats. We broadly divide it into 2 types. If you ask the housewife, they will tell you this oil is very thick, this oil is very thin. Now, typically, the thick oil is the saturated fat. The thin oil is the unsaturated fat. And the origin of the saturated fat is mainly, not all, mainly animals. The vegetable side, example would be coconut oil. The unsaturated fats mainly from vegetables and seeds.
咁呢度咧就係脂肪咧可以分為兩大類啦，一個咧叫做飽和脂肪另一個咧叫做不飽和脂肪。咁Dr. Abraham 佢有話，如果有家庭主婦喺現場嘅話咧，佢哋可能會知道佢哋平時日常用嚟煮食嘅油咧，佢哋可能有啲會叫做比較結身啦，有啲比較稀嘅。咁而結身啲嘅油咧，多數係嚟自動物嘅脂肪，呢個所謂嘅飽和脂肪啦。咁可能比較稀嗰啲咧，佢哋就叫不飽和脂肪，可能係嚟自一啲植物甚至乎一啲種子所提煉出嚟嘅油嘅。
Now, just a side note, this part here, trans fat, this has got a bad name. Actually, we need small amounts of trans fat, which we get from animal feed, animal products. But we also get the unhealthy trans fat from a lot of fried, packed food. So minimize the eating of fried, packed food.
大家可能喺畫面度都見到咧，仲有原來有第三種油嘅分類咧，佢叫做 trans fat 咁我哋中文咧叫做反式脂肪。咁原來我哋身體咧，根據Dr. Abraham 博士咧，佢話其實我哋係需要嘅。咁而我哋需要咧，唔係話我哋嗰啲煎炸嘅食物，因為煎炸嘅食物所形成出嚟嘅反式脂肪咧，係對我哋係冇益嘅。咁但係一啲係嚟自動物來源嘅反式脂肪咧，其實我哋都係需要少少嘅份量嘅喺我哋日常飲食裏邊。
Now let's go on to how we get the fats that we need. We eat a lot of food that has got fats. Now that is broken down to the basic unit called fatty acid. And then the body will resynthesize the fats that our cells require. So that is how the body makes. And if you don't eat any fat at all, the body will start making fats from carbohydrates and from proteins. That's how important fats are to the body.
好，我哋身體咧係需要脂肪嘅，大家要記住呢個重點先嚇。咁我哋身體係要透過我哋日常嘅飲食啦。咁當我哋喺個飲食裏邊有脂肪嘅攝取咧，佢就會分解成為啲所謂嘅脂肪酸咁而呢啲脂肪酸係我哋身體需要嘅。咁需要到嘅程度就話，當我哋唔能夠透過飲食去攝取呢個脂肪咧，我哋會透過轉化呢啲碳水化合物或者呢啲蛋白質咧，去到製造脂肪嘅。呢個重要性就係話，我哋身體如果唔能夠攝取脂肪嘅話咧，我哋都會自行透過碳水化合物同埋蛋白質咧，去將佢哋轉化做我哋需要嘅脂肪嘅。
However, there are two types of fats that the body needs. It must have it, but it is unable to synthesize. And therefore, you must consume it in the diet. And so they have been named essential fatty acids.
但係當中有一種脂肪或者叫脂肪酸啦，我哋身體無論你食啲什麼碳水化合物或者蛋白質咧，佢都唔能夠將佢轉化做嗰種脂肪酸嘅。而由於呢個原因咧，呢個脂肪酸就被定義為必須脂肪酸，或者英文叫 essential fatty acid。咁呢個必須脂肪酸係需要透過飲食去直接攝取等我哋身體去轉化，或者直接去攝取嗰個必須脂肪酸嘅。
Now, at this point, the way we name the fats changes. It is more convenient to the biochemists. So the two essential fatty acids are named as omega-3 and omega-6. Since our body cannot synthesize it, it must be consumed in the diet. Two conditions. You must get it from outside, and ideally the ratio should be 1:3. More of omega-6, 3 parts, 1 part of omega-3.
好，咁喺呢個必須脂肪酸裏邊，其實都要再細分開兩種嘅，一種叫做Omega-3，另一種咧就叫做Omega-6。咁呢兩種都係必須脂肪酸，我哋必須要透過飲食去到直接攝取嘅。 咁而阿 Dr. Abraham 醫生博士咧，佢有提過，咁個比例上嚟講咧，喺佢嘅講法咧就係1:3嚇。咁喺我哋善先流公司嚟講，我哋多數會講3:1嘅。咁但係我先講翻1:3係咩定義咧？就係1份Omega-3就對3份Omega-6嚇。
Why so much fuss about these essential fats? We have roughly 10 trillion cells in the body. Every cell has a membrane around it. That membrane is 50% fat. Out of that 50%, 20% is omega-3 and 6. Now, this cell membrane is so important. It helps to maintain the shape of the cell. Remember, the cell is like a balloon. It's not flat like a diagram in the textbook. It must have the right shape, and there are 200 different shapes. It mustn't break up anywhere. It must be a bit flexible because these 10 trillion cells are packed in our body. They are close to each other. So the cell membrane, which is most important, is maintained properly if we have enough omega-3 and 6.
好，咁究竟我哋身體有幾多個細胞咧？咁我哋其實係有10萬億個細胞構成我哋成個身體嘅。咁而我哋每一個細胞都會有個細胞膜，而細胞膜裏邊有50% 嘅構成成分咧，就係脂肪酸。而喺呢50% 嘅構成成分裏邊咧，當中有20% 咧，就係我哋所講嘅必需脂肪酸 Omega-3 同埋 Omega-6。咁我哋必須要維持一個健康嘅一個比例啦，喺呢個脂肪酸嚟講，因為當我哋個比例失去咗平衡咧，佢就冇辦法維持佢嗰個細胞嗰個形狀啊。當佢嗰個完整性係失去咗嗰個協調嗰陣時咧，因為你記住，我哋每一個細胞都係互相咁緊貼住另外一個細胞嘅佢哋當中係一定要有一個好正常、好健康嘅一個形狀咧，先至可以發揮到佢正常嘅功能嘅。
Since cells make up tissues, tissues make up organs, organs are organized into systems. If you take omega-3 and 6 and the cell membrane functions well, all the organs will function better, whether it is a digestive system or the hormone producing system or the brain is part of the nervous system, all will function better.
咁正係因為我哋每一個細胞就係我哋嘅組織嘅構成成分啦，而呢啲組織咧亦都係我哋器官嘅構成成分。咁當我哋每一個細胞都能夠健健康康，我哋組織我哋器官就會健健康康，包括我哋嘅消化系統啦，包括我哋嘅腦部嘅系統啦，我哋嘅成個腦個運作啦，我哋嘅神經系統啦，同埋各等樣嘅系統嘅。
Now, just to give you an idea of how complex the cell membrane is, here is a diagram. You can see that it is two-layered. It must be so good and complex rather, that it allows oxygen, it allows nutrition, allows hormones to get into the body, and only allows waste matter to get out of the cell. That's how important the cell membrane is.
咁喺個畫面度，大家見到我哋細胞膜嘅一個圖像啦嚇。咁其實佢有兩個唔同嘅 layer 嘅，一個喺外邊，一個喺內邊嚇。咁而呢個細胞膜咧，其實佢就主宰咗我哋好多嘅成分去進出我哋嘅細胞啦，包括頭先有提到嘅一啲氧氣啦、一啲營養啦，甚至乎一啲荷爾蒙咧，都係靠我哋個細胞膜去負責去運送進去呢個細胞裏邊嘅。
Now that we know the importance, let's look at our diet. We need both omega-3 and 6, but we already get too much of omega-6 from our vegetable cooking oils, lots of omega-6. At the same time, the omega-3 content in our food is down. You take shrimp or fish, some of these products that you are eating in the restaurant may be 6 months old. It comes from storage. And so we get too much of 6, too much of omega-3, too little of omega-3.
咁我哋係時候檢視下我哋而家個現代嘅飲食習慣啦。咁由於其實我哋係好多時候我哋嘅飲食咧，都係充斥住呢啲所謂嘅 Omega-6嚟自植物嘅脂肪酸。咁而呢啲脂肪酸咧，其實導致到我哋身體個 Omega-6嗰個水平係飆升啊。咁而另一方面咧，我哋 Omega-3嗰個脂肪酸咧，例如我哋可能會有時去餐廳嗰度。會食啲蝦仔啊、魚仔啊，咁但係你記住呢啲海產咧，其實可能已喺嗰間餐廳嗰度咧已經冷藏咗起碼6個月嘅時間嘅。咁而佢哋裏邊能夠提供俾我哋 Omega-3嘅成分有幾多咧？大家可以去深思一下啦。
So next question would be, so what if the balance is a little bit out? Okay, we get a lot of omega-6, very little omega-3. What is the problem? The problem is actually described quite early in the Chinese civilization by traditional Chinese medicine as heatiness. In modern medicine, we call it inflammation. Omega-6 provides the inflammation. Omega-3 holds it back so that you don't have too much inflammation. Excessive inflammation, long-term, can lead to diabetes, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, heart disease, and even cancer.
好，咁頭先Dr. Abraham 博士有提到啦，當我哋太多 Omega-6看似一個西方嘅一個概念啦，原來喺我哋中醫我哋中華文化裏邊咧，都有同樣相類似嘅一個研究嘅咁但係喺我哋中醫嚟講咧，呢個就叫做虛火或者火咁喺西醫嚟講呢啲叫做慢性發炎咁而呢個慢性發炎咧就係話如果我哋唔能夠去正視佢嘅話咧，可能會導致一啲慢性嘅退化病，包括啲糖尿病啦、高血壓啦、一啲嗰個心臟病啦，甚至乎一啲癌症嘅問題，都係嚟自呢個慢性炎症嘅。
What can we do about this? Our supply of food is like that. The first thing to do, reduce omega-6 consumption. Cut down the oil that you are taking. In our modern day diet, oil is too much. We can do with far less. So we need to approach it in 2 ways. Cut down the oil in our diet, increase the omega-3, and we have no choice but to take a supplement.
咁喺我哋而家看似好嚴峻嘅呢個問題嗰個情況底下咧，我哋有啲咩飲食或者呢個營養補充品嘅策略可以做咧？咁有兩個Dr. Abraham 博士咧就俾大家嘅小 tips 嘅。第一就係減少呢個 Omega-6嚟自植物油嗰個攝取啦。喺我哋日常嘅飲食裏邊啦，其實係太多啦我哋應該盡可能咧去減少嘅。咁而另一方面啦，我哋減少咗呢個促鹽嘅脂肪酸啦，我哋亦都需要去提升翻我哋幫手去消炎嘅呢個脂肪酸，即係 Omega-3咁呢個係一個上策嚟嘅。
At this point, many people will be asking, yes, I would like to take fish oil now, but I have some reservations. Now, if you decide to take fish oil, and I would encourage everybody to do it, these are the things that you need to look for. It must have enough amount of the omega-3, which is not just the whole oil, but the ingredient EPA-DHA. I have listed here the minimum that you need. In some whole countries, they even encourage you to go above 1,000 milligrams. Now, along with this, there must be antioxidants coming with the omega-3 or the fish oil. Only then you would be able to absorb and the body can use it. Now, present day people also would like to take oil with a nice taste. So maybe not as tasty as the food in Hong Kong, but at least palatable, you can consume it. And last, in this part, not many people know, it will be good if it comes along with the testing protocol to make sure that what you are taking is working for you.
好，咁啊，雖然嗰、個聲音個信號有少少窒啦，咁但係我就嘗試透過個畫面嘅文字咧，就同大家去翻譯啦。咁喺魚油嚟講，既然佢咁重要，咁我應該點樣去選擇咧？咁我哋又不妨咧去聽翻一啲唔同嘅健康嘅衞生部門啊，或者啲 authority 佢哋建議究竟我每日要攝取幾多呢個奧米加3，包括 EPA 同埋 DHA 咧，咁其實就係500個 mg 嘅。咁當然啦，阿 Abraham 醫生博士佢有提到，有啲國家佢哋會建議係每日攝取1000個 mg 嘅。不過另一個重點咧就係佢想提一提大家啦，最重要就係你哋攝取嘅呢個魚油補充品裏邊咧係有一個抗氧化嘅一個成分喺裏邊。因為如果冇呢個抗氧化嘅成分咧，你好難去確保到呢個魚油能夠避開你身體個消化過程裏邊嘅氧化破壞啦。如果破壞咗之後咧，就好困難咧去進入你個身體嘅血液循環，亦都冇辦法修補到你細胞膜所需要嘅脂肪酸嘅。咁另外第4點啊，就係線仙奴呢個平衡油咧，佢個味道嚇對於佢嚟講係非常之唔錯嘅。咁我亦都有用過嚇，佢有一個橙味啦，有輕輕嘅薄荷味啦。咁但係最重要第5點咧，就係線仙奴公司咧，佢亦都提供咗一個科學，亦都係一個好客觀嘅一個檢測嘅工具嚇，可以俾你哋自己去檢視翻，究竟你身體裏邊嘅奧米加3究竟係平衡定係唔平衡嘅。
This is one of the reasons we call our fish oil balance oil, because it helps to balance it in your body. So this is a picture of the bottle. I think most of you may have seen it, and this is how it is presented.
咁啊，亦都係正正呢個原因啦，我哋就唔會叫我哋個魚油做魚油咁簡單嘅，我哋叫佢做平衡油，因為佢裏邊嘅功能咧就係幫我哋去平衡翻我哋身體裏邊每一個細胞、每一個組織、每個器官裏邊嘅脂肪酸嘅平衡嘅。
Now, you would like to know the contents, and I bring you to the serving size. Sizes. I showed the smaller one. The smaller one already provides 1,229 milligrams of EPA DHA, which is very generous. And even if you have a deficit, this can help to fill it up. Now, we also have added vitamin D3. I've put it as international units. This serving 7.5 ml. Be able to absorb this fish oil properly. There's an antioxidant group that has been added. And this is a very special antioxidant that is extracted from extra virgin olive oil and provided in such a manner that it helps with the absorption and also used by the body cell membrane. Now, these polyphenols are extracted from extra virgin olive oil. So along with it comes the carrier part of the olive oil, omega-9, which is also important for your health.
好，咁啊嗱喺我哋嗰個平衡油裏邊啦，咁啊 Abraham 醫生博士佢有提到喺7.5個毫升裏邊咧，大概1個半茶匙嘅份量咧，佢裏邊已經可以提供到802個毫克嘅 EPA 啦，同埋427個毫克嘅 DHA。咁呢兩個份量嚟講咧，其實都係一個非常之適當嘅份量嚟嘅。咁我哋睇翻其實喺平衡油裏邊，佢仲有2個主要嘅構成成分。咁啊有呢個維生素 D 啦。咁喺相同嘅7.5個毫升裏邊咧，已經可以幫助我哋吸收到500個國際單位嘅維生素 D3㗎啦。 咁亦都可以留意到啦，佢裏邊有一個叫做 polyphenols 嚇，咁中文叫做多酚。咁而呢個多酚咧係嚟自一個初榨嘅橄欖油，係非常之優質嘅初榨橄欖油。佢本身係多酚係屬於一個抗氧化嘅物質啦，可以幫助我哋身體去對抗一啲自由基嘅問題啦。咁同埋佢亦都係屬於奧美加9嘅一個家族成員嚟嘅。咁喺呢個奧美加9嚟講咧，呢個嚟自初榨橄欖油係可以提供到我哋每日所需大概1918個毫克嘅奧美加9嘅。
Now, after being convinced that you want to take this product, we have this recommendation for you. We have a test kit that will measure the level that you presently have so that you know where you stand. There are some people who are already taking other preparations of omega-3. They also need to know whether it's working for them. So whether you are on an omega-3 product or not on an omega-3 product, it's good to do this blood test to know where you are starting from. And this is done with just 2 drops of blood onto a blotting paper. Very simple.
咁如果大家可能聽到上一 part 已經我好有興趣咧，去開始使用呢個Cincino公司嘅平衡油咧，咁Dr. Abraham 博士咧，佢再介紹大家咧去認識剛才上一頁嗰個畫面嗰個平衡測試。咁呢個測試咧就係話，無論你係有用緊我哋Cincino嘅產品啦，或者你係食緊其他產品嘅話咧，你都可以俾自己一個好客觀嘅量度。就係睇翻你自己食緊嘅日常飲食啦，甚至乎你嘅補充品嘅一個日常嘅習慣啦，能唔能夠提供到你所需嘅？咁而喺呢個 test 嚟講咧，亦都非常之簡單，係只係需要你個手指尖嘅2滴血液咧，就可以做到呢個檢測㗎啦。
Now, Cincino has contracted with a private lab in Norway to do this test for us. Cincino doesn't own this lab. It's an independent private lab, and they will send the results to the email that you specify. It's confidential. Only you will know it, and you can share it with others only if you decide to do so.
咁而呢個檢測嘅服務咧，其實係由一間第三方獨立嘅實驗室係幫你哋去分析嘅。咁而呢個獨立性同埋佢嗰個私隱度係非常之高只有你先至可以睇翻你自己嘅報告或者如果你願意去分享俾你其他人咧，都必須要咧係你自己去分享，先至有第三方嘅人會知道嘅。
Cincino is contracted with this lab called Vikas because of the comprehensive nature of results they provide.
咁而呢個實驗室咧，佢嗰個名就叫 Vitas 啦，咁亦都係因為佢係提供到一個好專業，亦都好準確嘅一個服務啦，所以我哋公司咧就係委派咗佢哋去幫我哋Cincino嘅客戶咧去做呢個檢測嘅。
They provide the results in 2 parts. One is the quantitative part. The second part is the qualitative part.
咁喺呢個分析裏邊咧，有分開一個數字上嗰個量度啦，另一個咧就係嗰個叫做有啲指標性嘅量度嘅。
Now, the quantitative part, they measure omega-6, not just omega-3, which is in the product, and not only just omega-6 and 3, but all the 4 family members of both the oil. So there are 8 measurements in omega-6 and 3. And of course, they've given the column where you should be, where you are now, and what's the difference. So you know exactly where you stand.
咁喺呢個檢測嘅報告裏邊咧，佢係會有成個奧米加6嘅家族成員有4種啦，同埋奧米加3裏邊有4種嘅。咁雖然我哋Cincino嘅平衡油裏邊咧，主要就提供呢個 EPA 同埋 DHA 啦，咁但係呢份報告咧，佢就係一個好全面嘅一個分析報告，係俾你去檢視翻究竟你而家嗰個紅血球細胞膜裏邊嗰4種奧米加6同埋奧米加3係嗰 嗰個比例係點樣嘅。咁會分開幾個 column 啦，即係幾個唔同嘅數值咧。一個就係一個目標數值，一個就係你檢測出嚟嘅數值。咁第三個咧就係你距離目標值嗰個偏差究竟有幾遠嘅。
Now, in addition to these 8 oils, there are 3 more that are important for your cell membrane. And we also give you the results of that. Saturated fat, 2 types. Omega 9, which is a monounsaturated. These results are also given to you so that you know what contributes towards your cell membrane health.
咁啊，除咗頭先有提到嗰4種奧米加6同埋4種奧米加3之外咧，原來仲有另外3種喎。咁啊，包括2種飽和脂肪酸啦，咁同埋一種咧叫單元奧米加9嚇，因為我聽唔切嗰個字，唔好意思。
Now, this is the first part, the quantitative part. Quantity, amount. The second part is the qualitative part. What is the quality of your status?
好啦，咁除咗喺數字上你會睇到一個好準確嘅你檢測之後嘅數值之外啦，咁佢亦都係有一啲咧係可以方便你去理解嘅一啲指標係等你可以去參考嘅。
Now, if you notice, we have 6 parts here. The first one, of course, is to let you know whether you are balanced or not. For example, this person is really in bad shape. 37.3:1. It should be 3:1. Now, you will also notice this one, protection value, sufficient, and it's 0%. Let me explain this. Protection value means your immune system status. For your immune system to function well, you must have enough protein, enough sleep, not too much stress, and omega-3. When we say 0 here, it means contribution by omega-3 to your immune system is at almost 0. Not that you don't have an immune system functioning.
好，咁啊嗱，呢個其中一個Dr. Abraham 博士想同大家講嘅兩個指標啦。第一個咧就係奧米加6同奧米加3嘅比例啦。咁呢個其實你會見到呢個例子裏邊呢位人士咧，佢係37.3:1，其實係一個非常之差嘅一個數值嚟嘅，因為我哋正常嗰個數值咧應該係3:1，而佢係37.3:1嘅。咁另外一個咧就係喺右手邊咧，你哋會見到一個叫做protection value， 咁廣東話叫做保護值啦。咁呢個保護值咧其實代表啲乜嘢咧？其實代表我哋嗰個免疫系統有幾健康。咁但係唔係淨係免疫系統咁簡單嘅，佢亦都會評估埋咧我哋其實嗰個身體嗰個睡眠啊、休息啊或者各等樣啦。不過就係奧米加3係呢個裏邊嗰個指標嘅一個重要嘅構成成分嚟嘅。如果你奧米加3唔夠嘅話咧，呢個 protection value 嘅保護值咧應該會非常之低嘅。
The same thing goes for your mental strength, cell membrane flexibility, and so on. How do they arrive at these ratios? Now, VITAS is one of the few labs that is located in a science park where there are research universities in that region, and they have worked with them to develop an algorithm to measure your omega-3 index, your mental strength contributed by omega-3, your cell membrane flexibility, and so on. And I will explain the arachidonic index later.
好啦，咁剛才我提到嗰兩個指標之外咧，有另外3個指標啦。一個就係我哋嗰個精神健康啦，即係 mental strength 啦。咁啊，另外一個咧就係我哋細胞膜嘅流通性。咁啊 ，Abraham 博士佢有提到咧，其實呢個檢測咧係喺我哋挪威嘅奧斯陸嘅呢間實驗室裏邊咧，佢透過一啲好專業嘅一啲運算嘅一啲公式咧，去得出呢 3個結果嘅。咁佢話到俾我哋知，我哋嘅精神狀態究竟係健唔健康啦，我哋嘅細胞膜嘅流通性健唔健康啦，同埋我哋嘅Omega 3水平係唔係屬於一個正常嘅範圍嘅。咁啊，佢亦都會提翻咧，佢跟住落嚟就會同大家講呢個花生四烯酸嗰個形成效率嘅呢個指標。
Now, some people might find it difficult to read this percentage is different here. The level for normal is different here, and at every point. Therefore, we have provided same values in a bar diagram with arrow so that you know exactly where you stand. We have given 3 colors. You must be in the green. And with this, it gives you a visual impression of exactly how far you stand from where you should be.
咁啊，可能我哋係純粹透過頭先嗰一頁嗰個數值啊，或者嗰個顏色咧，可能我都未必咁能夠直接去直觀去理解到究竟你處於咩嘅位置。咁所以喺同一份報告裏邊咧，佢亦都有一個詳細嘅一個叫做解釋咧，就係話你而家處於嗰個範圍嘅係紅色啊、黃色定係綠色。咁啊 ，Abraham 醫生博士佢就話：我哋嘅目標咧，就當然係要去翻綠色嗰個位置嘅。
So for all these 6 items, we have given the 6 different values in a bar diagram. Now, I mentioned to you, I want to talk to you about arachidonic acid. Now, this is the only diagram you notice is red on both sides. All the others, red, orange, and green. Red, orange, and green. But only this one, red and red here also. Simply means you have too little of arachidonic acid, it's not good. If you have too much of that, it's not good either.
哇！咁喺6個指標嘅圖案裏邊，佢對應翻6個唔同嘅一個棒形圖啦。咁當中有5個棒形圖係非常之直觀嘅，就係越係吹向左手邊，即係紅色咧，就係越係不平衡。咁越係吹向呢個右手邊，就係越係理想、越係安全嘅範圍嘅。咁唯獨是第6個指標咧，就叫 arachidonic acid 咧，叫花生四烯酸。佢好奇特嘅就係話，佢喺左右兩邊都係有紅色嘅範圍嘅。即係換句話講，你太少嘅話又係唔健康，太多嘅話又係唔健康。咁我哋同阿 Abraham 博士了解下究竟點解啦。
I have seen reports of omega-3 blood tests, omega-3, from other labs. Their reporting details come nowhere near this.
咁Dr. Abraham 醫生博士咧，其實佢喺佢嘅專業嘅經驗裏邊咧，佢亦都有對比過，可能有其他相類似嘅啲脂肪酸檢測嘅服務，甚至乎佢哋嘅報告係冇一個報告咧係可以同我哋 Cincino 公司呢個 Vitus Analytical Service 嘅呢個平衡報告咧可以相提並論嘅。
Now, from the reports we get from members who have taken our product and done this test, they find that all of them have improved. Okay? And I want to give you some suggestion. Number 1, get tested. If you're already taking a product and you have got 3:1, you don't have to change the product. Continue taking that. If not, I suggest you take the balanced oil. Take it for 120 days because it requires 120 days for the red blood cells to change, all the red blood cells in the body. So when that happens, you know exactly how much improvement you have made after the complete turnover of all the red blood cells.
咁我哋去到尾段啦，咁非常之榮幸，我哋可以收到Dr. Abraham 博士嘅一啲專業嘅建議啦。咁第一個建議咧就係話，如果你未做呢個平衡測試嘅話啦，請你哋馬上去做呢個測試嚇。咁當你測試完之後，出嚟嘅結果咧係到達3:1嘅話咧，恭喜你嚇，你可以繼續你 本來食緊嘅食物，繼續食翻你本來食緊嘅營養補充品。但係若果你第一次測試出嚟嘅結果係唔能夠達到3:1呢個比例嘅話咧，咁係我哋建議即係包括Dr. Abraham 博士咧，就建議你可以開始咧食我哋Cincino嘅平衡油。咁要食幾耐咧？就係食120天。個原因就係我哋身體裏邊嘅紅血球細胞咧，其實就係需要120天，即係整整4個月嘅時間咧，先至會更新一次嘅。咁喺呢個4個月裏邊，你開始轉食咗我哋Cincino嘅平衡油咧，就可以俾自己一個客觀量度一個事前事後嘅一個改善啦。
One bit of information before I finish. We do not check the levels of the oil in the liquid part of the blood. We check it from the membrane of the red blood cell. In other words, what has been incorporated into the cell. The red blood cells circulate the body throughout the body every minute, and it pretty much represents what other cell membranes are with regards to omega-3 and 6. So that test, that's why it can be done on a blotting paper where the liquid part is absorbed, but the cells remain.
最後咧喺結束之前咧，一個非常之專業嘅分析，因為市面上其實除咗呢個肝血點嘅呢個檢測啦，即係我哋Cincino用嘅呢個技術咧，其實仲有一個咧係叫做血漿嘅一個檢測嘅一個技術嘅，即係例如我哋平時係抽血去做呢個脂肪酸嘅檢測。咁但係咧抽血做嘅脂肪酸檢測咧，其實佢嘅代表性反而係唔夠Cincino呢個紅血球細胞膜嘅檢測咧係嚟得再精準嘅，因為呢個紅血球細胞膜咧，佢係代表咗我哋其他器官、其他組織裏邊細胞膜嗰個脂肪酸嘅構成成分，所以呢個代表性亦都係點解我哋呢個平衡測試咧係有別於，亦都係優勝於其他傳統嘅血漿抽血式嘅脂肪酸檢測嘅服務嘅。
With that, I want to thank you for taking time out this evening and listening to us. And if you have any questions, I'll be very happy to answer them.
咁我哋就 yes
go ahead yes
係啦，咁我哋首先就多謝Dr. Abraham 博士啦，咁佢亦都非常之希望可以幫到大家喺今日嘅短短嘅呢個50分鐘嘅資訊裏邊，咁佢亦都希望咧係透過最後呢個時段咧，如果大家有問題嘅話，可以喺現場嗰度發問嘅。剛剛你啲朋友你可以將你嘅問題講俾我聽啊，唔該。
Okay, now it's good time. So thank you, Dr. Abraham, and you have brought us. Sometimes in life, we need just a word, we need just a phrase, something key note, and you really did it for the blood test, for something that I haven't even for over two years now, and I pretend that I know good enough whatever you said. Okay, about the balanced oil, the percentage of the good balance and whatever, everything is fine. But the membrane blood test, you have given great precisions about what people really want to learn, like what I'm having this today. And really thank you for that. It's really precious, like information. This is a very, very important. It's key reason that we can tell people why performance of the blood tests of the Zeno better than the others. Okay, it's concrete. It's very persuasive, if you know what I mean. Okay, and I think one question really I have for you today, and something that I don't even know. That the last, I think the page 23rd, I think. And we talk about the both side on red. Remember that the arachidonic, this I'm not very familiar. Can you bring some details about what influence for us in the quotidian life? What about at one side and the other, and why comes up to the negative or positive point, but actually it's both negative point anyway, and we're better stay at the middle. So yeah, I need to hear more detail about this if you could. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Alexander.
Thank you, sir.
So, Dr. Abraham, so let me translate the question into Cantonese first.喺現場咧，孔教授佢有提到一個非常之好嘅問題啦。咁喺第23頁剛才嘅幻燈片裏邊咧，Abraham 醫生博士佢有提到花生四烯酸咧，佢係要喺中間嘅，即係換句話講，太多又唔得，太少又唔得。孔教授佢就想請教翻醫生博士，究竟如果太少對我哋身體有咩影響咧？太多對我哋身體有咩影響咧？Okay, thank you, Dr. Abraham.
Okay, thanks, Alexander. That's a very incisive question. Okay, now the body has the capability of mounting an attack on any foreign thing that comes into the body, be it virus, bacteria, fungus, foreign substance. The body needs a process to fight that and eliminate it. That process we call an inflammatory response. Now, a major player in mounting that response is arachidonic oil, which is a member of the family of omega-6. In fact, that is the most important one there. Now, if this inflammatory response is allowed to proceed non-stop, it becomes destructive to the body itself. So we need a capability to mount the response, at the same time not allow it to overdo its job. Now that can be measured by the level of arachidonic acid. So we need a certain level, but at the same time, too much of that is also bad. That is why the red mark at either ends of the bar.
個解釋咧就係話，我哋身體其實係需要去抵禦外敵嘅。咁呢啲外敵咧就係包括一啲細菌啊、呢啲病毒啊、呢啲病原體啦。咁當呢啲病菌啊、細菌啊喺我哋身體裏邊咧，我哋就會啟動咗一個叫做發炎嘅一個過程嘅。咁而奧米加6裏邊呢個脂肪酸咧，花生四烯酸 arachidonic acid 咧，就係令到我哋身體可以啟動呢個發炎嘅過程。佢完成咗佢嘅工作之後咧，如果我哋身體唔能夠將呢個發炎去停止嘅話咧，佢有可能咧會構成對我哋身體嘅一啲破壞嘅。咁所以呢個花生四烯酸咧，必須要維持喺一個中間嘅水平，唔能夠太多，但係亦都唔能夠太少嘅。
Well, yes, I understand that. If we stay in the good balance of 3-to-1, okay, the good proportion, that means we don't even have to care about this, because this parameter means it's how should I say, it's a double actions. So if I have the performance on 1 to 3, so I don't really have to take care about this parameters. Is that right? Or this is a double confirmations about the balance of the blood.
You know, Alexander, this is what happens. When you hit 3:1,
yes,
only then others are beginning to get corrected. So in the early stage, you may actually hit 3:1 and get abnormal results for some of the other parameters. But don't be upset, because that will come later. For some people, certain parts of the protocol take a little longer. It depends on the body chemistry.
Okay. So that means a double confirmation.
That's right.
Okay, good. Thank you so much.
非常之好嘅問題，亦都好嘅答案啦。咁容許我好快咁因為我哋時間差唔多夠啦，但我需要解釋埋呢個問題同埋Dr. Abraham 嘅答案。咁孔教授佢就有問啦。咁而家你有6個指標，我而家淨係望住2個嘅啫。一個就係你嗰個奧米加6比奧米加3個比例啦， 另外咧就係最後嗰個花生四烯酸嗰個指標嘅。咁如果我第一個指標我已經合格啦，到達3:1，我係咪唔需要太擔心我嘅Omega 6咧？咁其實Abraham 博士佢又話，我哋要睇翻我哋每一個人嘅體質。咁當然我哋能夠喺第一個最關鍵嘅指標咧，係可以去到正常嘅話咧，咁你容許你自己嘅身體咧，去慢慢去調整，慢慢去吸收下。咁希望咧可以喺最後嗰個指標咧，花生四烯酸個指標嗰邊咧，都可以做翻正常嗰個水平嘅。Okay.
Another important question I think Connie has asked. Connie is asking, at the end of the day when we add up all the omega-3 and 9 in the oil, the amount is not the same as the total oil. And I think this is a good question to also read the labels of other oils. Now, when fish oil is presented, it is presented in soft gel or in liquid. In our case, we have liquid. Now, I'll give a soft gel example because most people are used to it. Now, the label will say one soft gel is 1,000 or 1,200 milligrams. When you read the ingredients, the EPA, DHA may be 500, 600, or up to 700. Now, what is the remaining oil? For this active ingredient to be carried, we need what is called triglycerides, which are normal fats which the body uses for energy production. So that one can vary. As the EPA, DHA concentration increases, that will decrease. So many people look at the very first line and say, wow, it's 1,200 milligrams, and they think all of that is the important ingredient. No. So the rest of the oil is just triglyceride fat, which can be carrier and can be used for energy. By the way, Connie, we don't have omega-6 in our product. It's only 3 and 9.
OK Dr. Abraham 亦都留意到現場一位女士啦，佢叫 Connie 啦。咁佢一個問題就係話，佢喺市面上可能見到有啲產品咧，佢哋會係標示有3000個 mg 嘅Omega-3。咁我個解釋就係話，我哋要留意翻佢嘅劑型先嚇，因為市面上多數可能會啲膠囊狀嘅魚油補充品啦，咁而係有別於液體狀嘅魚油補充品嘅。咁另一個重點咧就係話，當佢哋標示佢哋嘅Omega-3係有1000個 mg 或者1200個 mg 都好咧，你都要再細心去睇翻嗰個標籤上面佢裏邊分別嘅 EPA 嘅含量同埋 DHA 嘅含量。咁當呢個EPA 同埋 DHA 個濃度越高咧，佢就會令到嗰個三酸甘油個份量咧就會越少嘅。咁另一個角度去睇翻啦。如果你淨係睇嗰個 Omega-3 嗰個係有1000個 mg， 而你冇去睇翻佢 EPA 同埋 DHA 個含量嘅話咧，可能你食落去嘅 Omega-3 咧，其實都係啲三酸甘油嚟嘅嚇。咁啲三酸甘油咧，當然咧喺我哋身體裏邊咧，佢有其中一個功用咧就係製造能量啦。但係佢俾唔到你必須要你最重要想要吸收嗰個 Omega-3 嘅 EPA 同埋 DHA 嘅。OK。
Just one little question. It might be silly,
sure.
But I think it's worthwhile while you're here. I'm taking profit of this. I have seen the ingredient is 7.5 ml, and the proportion of EPA is 802 milligram, and DHA is 427. That means almost a double. Can I always verify in other products or even in ours to say whether this is proportionally by calculation by Provata? Can I say if it's 600, that means about 300 for DHA, etc. Do you understand that I try to find out a scale, a good proportion about between the EPA and DHA? What do you think?
Okay. Peter, you want to translate that first, or shall I?
Oh, okay, yeah, let me translate first. 咁阿孔教授佢有提到一個問題咧，就係話佢見到我哋標籤上面咧，每7.5個毫升嘅攝取份量咧，裏邊大概係有802個毫克嘅 EPA 同埋427個毫克嘅 DHA。咁佢嗰個比例上嚟講，差唔多係2:1嘅。咁孔教授佢頭先剛才個問題咧就話，如果我係飲唔到或者唔係飲7.5個毫升，我飲少啲或飲多啲啦。咁佢裏邊嘅 EPA 同對 DHA 個比例咧，係咪都用翻呢個 ratio 嚟到去理解嘅？
係。
Now, EPA is used in different parts of the body more than DHA. DHA seems to be exclusively used by nerve cells, which includes the brain, spinal cord, and so on. So the amount of DHA you need is less than EPA. EPA is used more in joints, muscles, the skin, the heart, and usually it comes as a ratio which you see here. Now, however, there are companies that want to support elderly people in their brain function. So they make the oil in such a way that they have a lot of DHA. But that is not the natural proportion. That is more for therapeutic purposes.
唔該晒啊，周太 Abraham。咁我簡單解答埋呢個就我哋需要完呢個會議嘅，因為我哋都用咗Abraham 好多時間啦。好啊，咁首先睇翻咧 EPA 同埋 DHA 咧喺我哋身體係唔同嘅部位係需要利用嘅。咁EPA 嚟講咧，主要就係我哋嘅骨啦、我哋嘅肌肉啦、我哋嘅皮膚啦，甚至乎我哋嘅心臟嘅系統嚇。咁而 DHA 嚟講咧，就主要係我哋嘅神經系統同埋我哋嘅腦部需要去應用到嘅。咁所以喺線仙奴呢個平衡油，佢做呢個2:1嘅呢個2份 EPA 對1份 DHA 咧，其實佢都係參照翻我哋身體唔同器官組織嘅所需。咁一啲市面上嘅其他魚油補充品，可能會見到佢哋刻意去提升咗呢個 DHA 嘅份量。咁可能嗰種產品咧，主要係針對一啲老人家或者佢哋個腦部系統或者個精神系統咧，係需要額外嘅補充。而最後咧，佢就係話呢個咁高劑量嘅 DHA 其實就係一個係治療級別嘅一個劑量嚟嘅嚇。咁正常我哋保健嘅份量咧，維持翻我哋線仙奴呢個2份 EPA 對1份 DHA 咧，就係最切合我哋身體個設計嘅。
Great.
Okay, so thank you very much, Dr. Abraham. We had a great time, and we are looking forward to listen to your part 2 about the xenobiotic and also about our Extend Plus, which is the multivitamins. So thank you so much again, and looking forward to see everyone on September the 16th, same time, 6 p.m. Hong Kong time and Malaysia time. Thank you so much. Wish everyone have a good weekend. Bye bye. 唔該晒大家。
Nice weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Abraham. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Abraham.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye bye.